Hello everyone, today let's talk about our familiar and strange neighbor, the Moon. On July 20th, 1969, when man first set foot on the Moon, American astronaut Armstrong announced this feat to the world, saying that this is a small step for individuals, but a big step in human history. After this lunar landing, the United States carried out another 5 lunar landings. But surprisingly, after landing on the Moon 6 times, man not only did not uncover the unknown elements on the Moon, but discovered more mysteries that could not be explained, which made scientists more confused about the origin of the Moon. So far, scientists have put forward 3 theories about the origin of the Moon, but all 3 theories are flawed. Some scientists believe that the Moon, together with the Earth, was formed from a cloud of cosmic dust 46 years ago. Another theory is that the Moon is the child of the Earth, perhaps dug out from the Pacific. However, the results of the Apollo expedition show that the structural composition of the Earth and the Moon are very different and are not the same product at all. As a result, some scientists put forward another hypothesis, lying prone that they thought the Moon was locked in orbit by accidentally intruding into the Earth's gravitational field. However, it is very difficult to explain the mechanism of this process in theory, so the above theories are all untenable. As Dr. Robin Brett said, it is much easier to explain the non-existence of the Moon than to explain the existence of the Moon. Before Apollo landed on the Moon, people always thought that the age of the Moon was smaller than that of the Earth. Surprisingly, an analysis of rock samples brought back from the Moon found that 99% of the rocks were older than the oldest rocks on Earth. These rocks are almost as old as the solar system itself. What is even more puzzling is that these ancient rocks are taken from what scientists consider to be the youngest eras of the Moon. Based on this evidence, some scientists have suggested that the Moon formed the distance between the Sun and the Earth in interstellar space long before the formation of the Earth, which is about 395 times that of the Moon to the Earth. At the same time, the diameter of the Sun is about 395 times that of the Moon. It is felt that these 2 strange numbers make the 2 celestial bodies look the same size on the Earth. Is this phenomenon simply produced by nature? Some scientists don't think it's a coincidence. In winning the Moon, scientist Sheldon says that to keep a spacecraft in orbit, it must travel at 8,000 miles per hour in space in order to achieve a balance. By the same token, the Moon needs process speed, weight, and heat to stay in its existing orbit and balance with the Earth's gravity. In addition, the satellites of other planets in the solar system are no more than 5% of the diameter of the 5 stars, while the Moon is 27% of the diameter of the Earth. Why the diameter of the Moon is so large also puzzles scientists. A lunar crater is an annular crater formed by the impact of meteorites on the lunar surface. When the meteorites hit the lunar surface, it will knock out craters of different widths. But what is confusing is that these craters are quite shallow. Scientists estimate that a 16-kilometer diameter asteroid crashing into Earth at a speed of 15,000 kilometers per hour will create a crater 64 to 80 kilometers deep. However, the Gagarin crater, the deepest on the lunar surface, is 300 kilometers in diameter and only 6.4 kilometers deep. If the scientists' calculations are correct, the meteorite that caused the crater will create a crater at least 1,200 kilometers deep. if it hits the Earth. Why can only such shallow craters can be created on the Moon? The only explanation is that the surface of the Moon's crust is very hard. Recently, a research team led by Peter Jones, an Earth scientist at Baylor University in Texas, used the data detected by 2 satellites in NASA to show that very strange and dense, mysterious metal objects were found at the south pole of the Moon. Further analysis shows that there is a huge and very dense suspected metal object 300 kilometers below the ground, with a mass of 28 billion kilometers and an area of more than 50,000 square kilometers, 5 times larger than the island of Hawaii. The researchers are still unable to determine the source of these metals, why there is such a large amount of metal material at the Moon, and what is its source. This is very confusing. A declassified NASA archive shows that the Moon may be hollow to some extent. In 1970, the liquid oxygen tank in the service module of Apollo 13 suddenly overheated and caused an explosion. Then, a 15-ton rocket's metal part fell to the Moon and the surface. A seismograph set on the Moon recorded 3 hours of shock aftermath. If the Moon is solid, it is estimated that the shock wave will only last about a minute. Another thing happened during Apollo's lunar exploration. When the 2 astronauts returned to the command module, the lunar module suddenly lost control and crashed on the lunar surface. The earthquake recorder, located 72 kilometers from the crash site, recorded 50 minutes of shock waves. And the shock waves only spread from the epicenter to the surface of the Moon, not to the interior of the Moon. All this seems to prove that the Moon is hollow. Since the above mysteries are really difficult to explain scientifically, some people have put forward the man-made theory of the Moon. That is, the Moon is not a natural product, but a man-made one. The Moon is like a sophisticated instrument, facing the Earth on the same side every day, and it looks exactly as big as the Sun on the Earth. Its surface is so hard that it can withstand the tackle of a meteorite. The metal inside the Moon is its control center, and the man who created the Moon put the Moon in the Earth's satellite orbit to protect the Earth from the meteorite tackle. Of course, the above is just people's bold conjecture, and there is no evidence to prove the authenticity of this theory. At present, scientists know more about the Moon than they thought before landing on the Moon. The newly discovered evidence can make people open up new thinking and rethink the origin of life. Alright, that's all for today. I'll see you next time.